Hello, dear children. Good morning. Welcome to the class of English. In the last class, we had discussed about types of verbs. We had discussed about the transitive and intransitive verbs. Today, we proceed towards the next type of verbs, that are auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary. Auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs and are used together with a main verb to show the verb's tense or to form a question or negative. Now, let us see some examples of auxiliary verbs. Might, M-I-G-H-T, might, will. These auxiliary verbs give some context to the main verb. ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब्स मेन वर्ब के साथ यूज़ किए जाते हैं. क्यों? वो सेंटेंस को मीनिंगफुल बनाने के लिए. नाउ if the reader wants to know when the action took place, for that time also these verbs are used. Would, should, do, can, did, could, may. These are the examples of auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs examples in the following sentences are in the bold. You can see in the red color so that you can identify the auxiliary verbs given in the following sentences. Let us see the first sentence. I will go home after football practice. Now here you know that going is an action and it is a verb, but here will is also given along with go. So here will is a verb, and that is what kind of verb? It is an auxiliary verb because it shows the time when the person will go home. So going, but when? In the later period of time when the practice gets over. The auxiliary verb will is telling us that the action of the main verb go is going to take place in the future. That is after the football match has ended or practice has ended. So if the auxiliary verb will was removed, then we get the sentence I go home after football practice. Now we do not know when he will go. So there is not a definite time frame for the action. So here it helps. So this is example of an auxiliary verb. Let us see some more examples. I may dance with you later. Here may is the auxiliary verb because it does not show surety. The person says I may dance. So may is possibility. He or she is not going to dance surely, but when there is a probability, yes or no, then we use the word may. We did consider Brian's feeling. Now here did is used to lay emphasis. Emphasis means उसके ऊपर वो भार बढ़ाने के लिए, सेंटेंस को थोड़ा श्योरिटी लाने के लिए डिड के ऊपर एम्फेसाइज किया गया है. वी कंसिडर ब्रायन्स फीलिंग इज ओके, बट देन वी डिड कंसिडर ब्रायन्स फीलिंग. सो दिस इज शोइंग द emphasis. Emphasis means it is showing that the action is going to take place surely, means with great feelings. Jenny has spoken her final words. Now here again has is the auxiliary verb used in the sentence. Now in addition with this, we can sometimes use the auxiliary verbs before the pronoun to make a question. As I said, we can use it for question, we can use it for negation. Negation means negative sentences. So let us see the sentence. Might you dance with me later? So here might is auxiliary verb and here it is used to frame a sentence with question. Did we consider Brian's feeling? It's again in the question form. Interrogative sentences, as you have learned in types of sentences about interrogative sentence, this is a interrogative kind of sentence, but it is a sentence that starts with an auxiliary verb. Has Jerry spoken her final words? Has is the auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs are also used to help form negative statements with the use of words like not and never. Now, not and never are not auxiliary verbs, but the auxiliary verbs are used in order to make negative sentences. These will usually split the auxiliary and the main verb. ये split हो जाएगा. For example, did not. So, did and not. So, that is separated. Did and consider is separated by the negative word not. Likewise, let us see the first sentence. We'll come to know. I may never dance with you again. So here, may is the auxiliary verb and dance is the main verb. So you can see that the word never splits the main verb and the auxiliary verb. We did not consider Brian's feeling. So again here, did is the auxiliary verb and consider is the main verb, and it is split with the help of the word not because the sentence is negative. This is how you can identify the type of verb. I am explaining you each and every word so that you understand and you are able to identify the main verb as well as the auxiliary verb, and also you can identify whether it is a negative sentence, whether it is an interrogative sentence, or whether it is an affirmative sentence. Okay, Jenny has not spoken her final words. Here, has is the auxiliary verb, not is the word for negation or negative sentence, and spoken is the main verb. So, this was all about the auxiliary verbs. I hope you have got a better understanding about the auxiliary verbs, and now you will be able to use it in the form of sentences. Till now, we have learned verbs and types of verbs. In the types of verbs, we have learned about action verbs, non-action verbs, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, and the auxiliary verbs, that are the helping verbs. I hope you have understood it well. If you have any doubt regarding verbs, please feel free to ask me anytime. Have a nice day. Thank you.